Okay. As we all can see tonight, it's dark in here for once. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Most certainly not a bad thing. Is it a good thing? Is it always good? That's what we're going to learn tonight. This month is about reflecting. It's about knowing what to reflect on, avoiding harsh words, trusting the good versus the bad. What is healthy for us? What is not healthy for us? I'll go ahead and make my screen full. So, what is good is good. What is bad is bad. What is equal is equal. It's neither good, it's neither bad. Tonight, I had to break news for us set another soul to heal. And how we break this news is you don't always know how they're going to respond. I went ahead and did a soul retrieval. What is a soul retrieval? It's a retrieval of a soul that's outside the human body. Retrieve, retrieve, retrieve. That's what we get. I was even and looking at Instagram earlier and reflecting. What is this month about? It's past Samhain. We're heading into Yule, the busy season. I can tell you this now, we're already in Yule. Are we going to celebrate it? This time of year is about celebration, whether it's at work, at home, at school, in college, or with friends and family. Old scars must be left behind. This month, I wanted to talk about the healer's path. Not just because I wanted you to know what the healer's path was like. I want you to understand the healer's path, what a healer does, and what a healer is. A wisdom keeper is a wisdom of knowledge and experience. He learns from his understanding. He learns from his mind. And then he learns into his spirit, his experience inside of it that separates him from the soul to the body. What a healer does is we take life around us. We don't take it for granted. We take it and we restore it into one place. That's what a healer is. We take portions of ourselves to heal. We heal those wounds. We heal them. But then it's up to us to keep healing those wounds. It's taken me years to heal the first wound. And now I'm healing, I'm progressing. Unfortunately, lineages have negativity that they pass down from their generation. It's passed down. We have a choice. Do we want to heal it? Or do we want to leave it? A lot of you will say, leave it. Okay, let's talk through this. What are we healing tonight? People will say, I don't know what to heal, but your subconscious already knows. Drama, headache, fear, exhaustion, etc., and so forth. It just goes down and down and down. What does this all mean? Fear doesn't reside with me. Anger doesn't reside with me. Sadness doesn't reside with me. Grief does not reside with me. Greed doesn't reside with me. Those emotions keep going and going. Ultimately, it goes back down to the root. Fear and negativity. What is that fear? The fear of death. What is that negativity? It's what resides in you. People might say this is harsh, but what's even harsher is you can't live up to your fullest potential until you heal these wounds. Say if it's lust, and you're like, let's go down to nothing. Some people, you can't just exit out of that because there's an itching sensation that comes with it. We move 1 day of the week, 2 days of the week, 3 days of the week, progress to 30 days. That will be your challenge. If you could do it for 30 days or more, that's good. You can ignore it. You have the will. We all have the potential to heal. We can become a healer ourselves and not be healed, but how we get our fullest potential is to be healed. I want you to understand this. No healer will advise you to go further down the road. They will set you up with things to do that lets you heal your heart, yourself. There's 3 things that you got to keep in mind about a healer, how to tell if it's real. Are the words harsh enough for you to understand that that needs to be healed? Are you feeling guilt about that emotion that's possibly negative? And what parts of that shame, that guilt needs to be healed? What parts? I know a lot of us here are still just learning. But if you're not healing, you're going to become lost. Lost to society. There is a concept out there that Michael Greb goes over, is that the higher up you are in class, the more you're feeding into the capitalism, the the work that keeps us from our fullest potential. Don't get me wrong, there are classes that do live up to their fullest potential, but they're engaging in ethical acts to live up to their fullest potential. None of it would be enough. A lot of them will say, "Oh, I follow this church. They have proper teaching." Another group will say, "I go to this church." And they will tell you they're fully healed. They'll tell you their experiences. But most people in America, in Christianity, in religious departments, in unethical acts, in politics, you see it all over the place. They're not fully healed. And then we see the poor. Do the poor look happy? And we're like, what? They don't look happy. You should look down on them. They're struggling. They have phones. They have a computer. They have an Xbox. Is that happy? Do they need a phone for everything? I can tell you this now. I never grew up in a rich neighborhood. Parts of me is glad that I grew up in a poor environment. People down in New York will be like, how can I heal down here? I'm in the poor system. Good. That's gonna sound harsh, but it's good. It allows you to heal. Upper class does not let you heal. It will only break you down, break you, destroy you. People will say that's blasphemy. I'll tell you this. Name one rich person lives to their highest potential without a health problem, without cancer, without growing to an age of having bags under their eyes because they are physically exhausted. Most actors, they wear makeup to cover their bags. And we look at them off set and be like, is this the same person? The answer is yes, it's the same person. They mask themselves to be professional, but it requires makeup. It requires unnatural products. So in the long run, when you're wearing those for 8 hours a day, it'll eventually tear your skin apart. Um, People will say, "Oh, that's not how it works." That's how unnatural laws work. People will tell you natural is not better than unnatural. Natural is worse. They'll tell you that. But even the church tells us the earth was created in perfection. the stories of the gods of the north. It was created in protection. We don't hear a herb that kills. We just don't. We have allergic reactions to certain herbs, yes, but herbs aren't there to kill. They only kill when it's necessary, when they are abused by the owner. People will also say that's blasphemy. Nicotine, tobacco, drugs, all sorts of herbs. There's a recent drug that I heard about that involves orgasms. It's a sex drug. Same thing goes for that. A lot of it's unnatural, but there is a herb out there that gives off a sexual hormone. Let's just say that. I'm being flat out blunt tonight because we need to hear this. This is how the healers work. They work with blunt base. Don't mask at all. What we do mask is what our work is. That's the only thing we'll mask from you. It's like, oh, you got this and this and this going on. You're drinking on the camera. You're drinking unnatural products. It's like, okay. That's all my choice. That's all my choice. Could I say I have stuff I need to work on as well? Yeah, I absolutely can. This is just as much for me as it is for you. Any pastor, I will say, he's onto something. They will say, if they're being completely honest, this is just on as much on me than it is on you. Because a lot of churches nowadays, they are in sin. Sexual harassment, drug overdose, negative behavior, assaults. Let's put that on the list. The list goes down. Even the Pope covers things up for the church. Because it would look back on bad on his name if the Catholics got something about rape on the news and it stayed up there for too long. It's silenced. If you're saying, okay, I understand why I get silenced, no, don't understand it. There's a lot wrong with our nation. This just kind of reminds me, if someone commits a crime, name it. Name the worst if you have to. The worst to you. Name the crime. And if you think that person should get publicly executed on the first offense, that tells me a lot about your character. I've heard it at my workplace 3 times. I'm not going to say where I work. I'm not representing where I work right now. It's been up there. It's been mentioned in my department 3 times while in the break room. A lot of people will say, okay, what was it? Was it justifiable? No crime is justifiable. It's a crime. but then we justify different ranks of the crime. I get it. Some people might joke about death, about murdering someone else. They might joke about who they hate. Honestly, I will say it's not a good mindset because you can manifest it. I need to work that on out of myself. But still crime. People will start plotting. Um, there's even laws in the spirit world about what you do and what you can't do. Um, nature is more forgiving than the government because he could just go back to nature and say, accept me back as your disciple. I was wrong. The nature will know you're telling the truth by your actions. What was pointed out to me long before, or I progressed further in aerokinesis, is that trees talk to other trees. The spirit of that tree will talk to the next tree. The spirit of that tree will talk to one all the way down the road. The list goes on. And they will all know you by name. I got stopped there. I'm going to lean off this topic because in a healer, there's a healing and transformation that happens. No one wants it. They always run away from this transformation of a healer, which is the ability to love. This ability is even hard for me. Why is it hard? Because we've learned in society that we can't trust people. We learn to rely on money. So we just take it from them. We take it out of greed and the fear that we'll lose our job. And it's also in the fear of I can't live in this place anymore. Um, yeah, it's important to have laws of reality. Yeah, it's good to have structure. But as mankind, we become corrupt. I would like to refer back to King Solomon. He was considered a man of God when he first got on in there. But then he was offered books. The darkness started to consume him. Like, okay, darkness started consuming him, so he was getting publicly shamed. No, if you haven't read his story or heard stories on the occult path, King Solomon was offered 3 books, I believe. And this was during a time where magicians, well, hermits, I should say, hey, were wanting a popular name that had the grimoire. The grimoire was written by a popular person to make it look like that. Because they knew they would be gone, so they wanted to pass it down. That's why we get so many different grimoires from ancient times. So he rejects the first book. I believe it is 3 books. I'll have to take a look back at the story, but we're going to say for tonight 3 books. She's like, I'll offer you all these 3 books at this cost. She named her price. Offer 1 was rejected. So, what she did with that grimoire, she took it, and threw it, and burnt it in the fire. She offers again at a lower price. Her grimoires, 2 grimoires. People might say, okay, it's 2 grimoires. He will take it, right? No. Once again, Solomon refused. So she took the next grimoire, threw it in the fire. On the very last grimoire, she offered her price for this grimoire. And in this particular grimoire, he accepted it. Now, I don't know if these were just collections of lessons she learned, but the gold was given. Gold was very valuable, especially to a hermit, because what you could do as a hermit is get rare items. So that's for your knowledge. It's like, okay, why would a hermit need gold? A hermit is as much of a need of gold as has any magician out there, because there are things that are expensive, and we just want to be able to purchase what we can. Navajo, tobacco. So the value of gold, yeah, it went a long way. This is historically speaking. And her the value on which this took for her, she accepted it and gave him the grimoire as promised. Solomon then eventually takes this grimoire. Oh, by the way, these grimoires can lead up to over $1,000. That's just so you know. Solomon takes it. Because grimoires back then were so much more rare, hard to come across, they were twice as expensive as they are now. So probably about 23,000 coins, gold, would suffice, or 23 gold. 23 gold on its own would be good, but 23,000 gold would be a good price for them. Not many were willing to offer it to an average person unless if they were trained by him. That's how it was passed down from generation to generation. That's how we got the Abraham. Oh gosh, that's how you get the most dangerous ritual you could ever perform mentally and spiritually. Because if you fail, you fail. It's a year-long ritual. It's pretty much a test. Um, the Abraham Million operation. That's I go on tangents about this once a year. Um, I study it. So yeah. Uh, so yeah, going on with the story. Solomon goes over the teachings with the bishop, the pastors. Well, not the bishop, but the Jews. And pretty much what he ended up doing is teaching the Jews magic, witchcraft. He taught the general public that it was okay. That's what he taught. Now, the ones who weren't compliant as elders, they probably got executed. I would reassure. Um, there are very few educated by the time the new king came, but we all know the story. He gets a flying carpet in some stories it mentions, and then Azazel, well, comes over, takes over, throws him off to the desert, and then Solomon eventually comes back and takes the throne again. That's a long journey. I forget what Azazel means, but the word El means God. And he was saying, in God's name, I say my name. Um, if you're familiar with demons, El usually is a mockery as they use it. So we know the stories. Solomon passes his new the new king who grew up around all this lust, greed, magic, power. He goes through the temple which has been destroyed, the synagogue, and gets its savage remains. And eventually they come across a book, the Torah, which their nation was established upon. So he reads the Torah, and the first words are Bereshit bara Elohim et Adonai et Elohim and haaretz. I'm trying to remember it from the top of my head. I got it right here, which is just Genesis 1, I can. Yeah. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et et haaretz. That's what it says. In the beginning, God created heavens and earth. That's what it says. For those who say, "Oh, that's blasphemy. You're in a different religion." Again, I'm a shaman. A Norse shaman does not dedicate themselves fully to that particular religion. There's a difference between an average man and a Norseman. Really. We're not afraid of death. We like to share these stories. So he reads through the first book, and then he stumbles upon the Ten Commandments. Now, the new king, I forget who the king was. He was Joseph or something? Correct me if I'm wrong, but he ends up coming across the Ten Commandments. He was like, this is what our nation was founded under. The experts knew, but they still did it. Well, he gathered all the elders, particularly the compromised ones, and he shamed them. He said this was wrong. This was unethical what you're doing. So, what did he do? He had him executed. And then he pretty much said, kill every magician leader within this nation. So, of course, news went around. Some of them fled. Some of them were never captured. Some of them kept copies of the grimoire. They took it with them. Um, we kind of know where the story goes right after that. Everything was cleansed out. The synagogues were rebuilt and everything. But the point of the story was his father wasn't a healer. He was a destroyer. You take a look at the Keys of Solomon, they involve binding spirits, trapping spirits, exorcising spirits. That's where you get the dark exorcists from. Some of them even talk about the Kabbalah a little bit. It's dark. A lot of it's dark. I've read it myself. I got rid of the copy, really thankfully, because its voice calls. It's a calling voice. Does it still linger? Yes. Is it wanted? No. So, yeah, the darkness can consume you. The Gotia can consume you, just like it did to the new king was a healer. What was he a healer of? His own nation. What did he do first before healing the nation? He healed himself. That's what he ended up doing. So the length of this would have been at least a month, if not 6. That's a long time to get out of the village and be like, I'm out of here. This would have been publicly known as well. So if you weren't out there by then, you were killed. Well, in those times. Yeah. Moses was called a father of many nations, but first he had to heal himself. Abraham, same thing. Odin, same story. He had to heal himself. How did he heal himself? How did he learn the runes? 9 days, 9 nights. Stabbed himself. He dehydrated himself. He made himself hungry. He didn't even take a sip. He didn't take a bite. And he was stabbing himself. It's graphic, but it's a story. That's how he gained the ability to see the runes, to work with the runes. It was much higher for him because it came at a cost of his deity, divine nature. What did he do this under? The Yggdrasil. The Yggdrasil called him worthy because he was worthy. He was a healer. Freya. You see many times where she heals herself. She goes up. She runs away from Odin and Thor because they're hunting her. And I don't remember the reason. I don't even know the reason why they were hunting Freya. They didn't recognize her. So they killed her. First time. She burnt to ash. And then rose up from the ashes, came in one piece. When she was at a cliff, mountaintop, when this happened. Second time it happened. Same story. Third time it happened. An almighty flame shows. And she's reborn. That's when she shows her true form. It was Freya, the goddess of love, the goddess of nature. She was love. She was nature. She was a healed, transformed version of nature. They bowed to Freya. And Freya and asked if forgive me and teach me. Let me learn from you. So she taught him. A lot of people would be like, screw this. I'm not learning from you. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Even after seeing this, that's what their purpose is, their mindset. But no, Odin knew he was in the wrong. Thor knew he was in the wrong. I think they made a treaty right after that. That was a little bit before our Odin made an alliance. to marry her. But Freya was Odin's teacher. So tonight, the ceremony will be from Freya, the goddess of love, the goddess of nature, the goddess of healing. If you want to call upon death, we're going to say Hela, which means hell from Helheim. No, no, we're not going to call upon death. We're going to call upon nature. We're not even going to play the drum. I hear it in my head, but I'm not going to play it. The rune tonight is Behul. Behul for Freya. Let's go ahead. Get started on this healing journey together in sacred space. Center out from your third eye to your heart, down to your roots. As the crown opens, make sure you have your eyes closed for this. Let your heart emanate a white light. Go inside the white light. It comes with the white light, this land, sacred land with Freya, who appears before you in love, in fertility, in nature, holding a fire in her hand, offering it to you. She tells you, this flame exposes all your old wounds to heal. They will heal when you grab this flame. But it will be in the most painful way possible. This first flame she gives you, it burns from your root to your solar plexus. She says, your nature's old, so let it be reborn, handing you the second flame. Accept it. As you bring it to your heart, it goes to the third eye. She now says, you're almost there. You're almost transformed. And hands you the third flame. This time, Freya tells you to put on a crown. And witness as your old body burns. Take a brief moment to do so. Now witness as your physical body turns from ash into a new version of yourself. I wonder, what is this? It's transformation and it's healing. It heals all the old wounds, Frey explains. It heals your past wounds that no longer serve you. So let them be healed. As you listen to Freya and do as she says. So finally, we come back to our heart, the white light, through the portal that we came through. Freya says, goodbye. May you be in love, peace, and fertility with nature. I am connected with you in nature. And once you're on through, exit out white light in your heart. Might be like, what is this light called? It's called the heart's eye. We have the mind's eye, and then we have the heart's eye. Whenever you're ready, exit out. Only if you're ready. Just reflect for a little bit. If your eyes are open, just reflect. It's just quiet. That's all it is. Full moon is a powerful night. No convenience that's quiet on Discord at this hour. I truly believe that. I think there's a reason behind it. I just can't explain. That's all I have to say for tonight. I will give you further details more in person on how to become a healer, but it just starts from the heart. That's what it does. If you're talking about chakras, it starts from the root cause, fear. I don't feel the shame and guilt anymore. It's all been let go. I am free from it. For those of you who joined tonight, or even in the future on a full moon, perhaps, I really do hope you got something from this in navigation. Going through a hard time and want someone to plainly say it out to you who directly in the face, I'm your man. And if you don't want that, that's also okay. I've never been known to be unbrutal. I've always been known to be brutal. So, yeah. Let's make sure. As we're leaving ceremony tonight, let's clear out some energy real quick. Just create it with your energy. Bring it all in. You have to take it between your hands. A lot of ceremonies in Wiccan circles, they'll say, a lot of Norsemen will say as well, put it into your body. But no, we're just leaving it outside of our body. And then we'll pull it. Slowly bring it out. Have a good one, though.